Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to experience success at a level most people only dream about, then you need to adopt habits that most people are unwilling to develop. Success doesn't respond to desire alone, it responds to discipline. It's not about what you want. It's about what you're willing to work for, believe for, and show up for every single day. The first habit is so powerful it can rewire your destiny. Speak what you seek until you see what you said. Too many people speak their fears instead of their future. They magnify problems instead of declaring promises. Your mouth is a weapon either for your failure or your fortune. Every word you say is a seed, and every seed produces after its own kind. If you want to change your life, you've got to change your language. You don't speak based on what you see, you speak based on what you believe. Say it even when it doesn't make sense. Say it when no one else agrees. Say it when your bank account says otherwise. Why? Because your words are prophetic in power. They're not just describing your situation, they're designing your future. Second, stop chasing information and start investing in transformation. Some people are addicted to learning but allergic to action. They love seminars, they collect books, they fill notebooks, but they stay broke, they stay stuck, and they stay small. Why? Because they think information equals change. It doesn't. Applied truth is what causes transformation. It's not what you know, it's what you do with what. If you're not implementing, you're just entertaining yourself with knowledge. You don't need more motivation, you need activation. It's time to stop being inspired and start being transformed. The third habit is the bedrock of every success story, the discipline of delayed gratification. Successful people don't make decisions based on convenience, they make them based on calling. They don't live for comfort today, they live for compound results tomorrow. You've got to train yourself to resist the impulse to settle. That means skipping the party to build your business. That means saying no to the vacation and yes to the vision. That means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term prosperity. Winners don't look for what feels good, they look for what produces fruit. Success costs. The question is, are you willing to pay the price now so you can live the promise later? Fourth, you have to get around the right people. If your circle doesn't challenge you, you don't have a circle. You have a cage. You need people in your life who refuse to let you stay average, people who stretch your thinking, elevate your standards, and force you to stop making excuses. Your environment is either feeding your future or fueling your failure. Proximity is power. Get around people who are obsessed with growth, allergic to excuses, and committed to becoming the best version of themselves. Iron sharpens iron, but if you're surrounded by butter knives, don't be surprised if you stay dull. Fifth, you must live from vision, not circumstances. Most people let their current situation determine their future projection. But champions don't let what's going on around them control what's going on inside them. Visionaries see beyond the valley. They look at a barren field and see a harvest. They see closed doors and declare open ones. Your circumstances are temporary, but your calling is eternal. Don't let the facts talk you out of your faith. You might be in a tight place, but that doesn't mean you're in the wrong place. Walk by vision, trust the process, stay focused on where you're going, not where you are. And finally, the habit that multiplies all others, relentless consistency. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's easy to be fired up for a day. Anybody can be disciplined for a week, but the people who experience real success are those who keep showing up on the days they feel like it, and especially on the days they don't. Every time you show up with excellence, you build momentum. And momentum is the invisible force behind every breakthrough. Don't let your emotions lead your actions. Let your commitment lead your actions. Show up like you're already successful. Show up like your future depends on it, because it does. So if you want to change your life, adopt these habits and do them with conviction. Speak with boldness, learn with intention, delay gratification, elevate your circle, operate by vision, and show up with consistency. These habits aren't optional, they're critical. Success doesn't show up by accident, it shows up by design. And if you're willing to develop the habits, you'll unlock the destiny that's been waiting for you all along. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing your language. You have to learn how to speak what you seek, even before you see it. The problem with most people is that they only say what they see, and because they only say what they see, they never change what they see. You keep repeating the cycle. You're trying to escape because your words keep agreeing with your limitations instead of your liberation. But here's the truth. Your words are not meant to describe your situation. They are meant to define your destination. You've got to understand something powerful. Your mouth is a tool of creation. It's not just for communication, it's for manifestation. The words you speak consistently create the environment you live in. If you keep speaking defeat, don't be surprised when you keep feeling defeated. If you keep speaking lack, you're giving permission for lack to remain. If you keep talking about what's not working, what's wrong, and what's missing, you're multiplying exactly that. Words are seeds, and your life is the harvest of what you've been planting. There's a divine principle at work here. When you speak faith, you activate spiritual law. When you speak your future, you give heaven something to agree with. But if all you ever do is speak doubt, fear, and frustration, you're agreeing with your enemy, not your destiny. You have to train your tongue to talk like your future is already real. Speak the business before you have the clients. Speak the impact before you have the influence. Speak the income before you see the deposits. You've got to open your mouth like you believe what you're building already exists. Because in the realm of vision, it does. This isn't about positive thinking, it's about prophetic declaration. You're not just speaking nice things to make yourself feel better. You are activating the supernatural. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. That means your breakthrough, your abundance, your healing, your promotion. It's not waiting for a lucky break. It's waiting for your bold words. When you speak with clarity and authority, things start moving. Angels respond. Resources align. Favor flows. Not because of who you are in the natural, but because of the power that backs your words when you speak them in faith. But understand this, speaking what you seek isn't a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. You don't speak it once and fold. You speak it daily. You speak it when it's hard. You speak it when you feel discouraged. You speak it when your circumstances are screaming the opposite. Why? Because every time you speak, you are either reinforcing your fear or reinforcing your faith. And the more you reinforce your faith, the faster your life will follow suit. So declare it. Even if it feels crazy, even if nobody around you believes it, speak it until the atmosphere shifts. Speak it until your mind aligns. Speak it until your results start catching up to your revelation. Speak what you seek until you see what you said, because eventually what comes out of your mouth will become the reality you walk in. We live in the age of information overload. You can Google anything, watch 100 videos a day, scroll through endless advice on social media, and still be stuck in the exact same place. Why? Because information by itself doesn't change your life. Transformation does. And transformation only happens when you take what you've learned and make it a non-negotiable part of how you think, how you move, and how you operate. See, some people are addicted to gathering knowledge, but allergic to applying it. They attend every webinar, sign up for every course, buy every book, and still wonder why they're broke, overwhelmed, or unfulfilled. It's because learning has become a form of procrastination. They feel productive just because they're consuming content, but they're not implementing any of it. They're stuck in motion, but never stepping into movement. Information is cheap, transformation is costly. And most people aren't willing to pay the price. You got to stop treating personal growth like entertainment. You don't need more inspiration, you need application. Real success doesn't come from what you know, it comes from what you do consistently with what you know. The difference between someone who makes millions and someone who stays stuck at zero isn't intelligence, it's execution. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the one who takes action the fastest and stays committed the longest. You've got to move from passive listening to active living. It's time to implement what you've already heard. It's time to take those notes you wrote down last year and start living them. Because the gap between information and transformation is called action. That's the bridge. That's the missing ingredient. That's the turning point. You don't need another strategy until you've fully mastered and applied the one you already have. And let's be clear. Transformation requires investment. It takes time, energy, money, and focus. Most people want next level results with first level commitment. They want to manifest greatness, but they won't invest in mentorship, accountability, or personal discipline. They want to change their life without changing their patterns. But hear this, you can't become a new version of yourself while holding on to the habits of your old self. Transformation requires you to release comfort and embrace conviction. It demands alignment, not just ambition. So stop collecting content like a digital hoarder and start committing to change. Make a decision that you're no longer just going to be a learner, you're going to be a doer. You're going to stop sitting on potential and start producing fruit. You're going to take the information you've already been given and turn it into tangible, measurable, undeniable transformation. Because when you shift from consuming to becoming, everything in your life begins to elevate. The people who win are not the ones who know the most. They're the ones who implement the fastest, adjust the quickest, and never stop growing. So don't just seek knowledge, invest in transformation. That's where the breakthrough lives. If you want to experience uncommon success, you have to master something most people run from, the discipline of delayed gratification. This is one of the most powerful habits separating the average from the extraordinary, the struggling from the thriving, and the distracted from the destined. Because, let's be real, anyone can chase pleasure. Anyone can do what feels good in the moment. But it takes a person of vision, character, and conviction to say no now so they can say yes later to something far greater. The world trains you to crave instant results. Fast food, fast money, quick wins, microwave success, but nothing of lasting value is built overnight. A tree that grows fast is usually weak and hollow inside, but the one that grows deep before it grows tall, that one can withstand storms. That's the one that lasts. Success that lasts is built on decisions that cost you comfort in the moment but compound into greatness over time. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're building something eternal. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, when you invest your money instead of wasting it, when you read instead of scrolling, those aren't just choices. They're deposits into your destiny. You may not see the return immediately, but make no mistake, it's coming, because anything you do consistently in alignment with your vision is never wasted. But here's the challenge. Delayed gratification feels like loss when you don't have a clear vision of what's ahead. That's why so many people quit. They give up because they don't understand that sacrifice is not subtraction, it's multiplication. Delayed. The money you save, the skills you build, the effort you put in when no one's watching, it's all stacking in your favor silently. And then one day, it looks like you became an overnight success, when in reality, you just stayed committed longer than most were willing to. You have to train yourself to stop chasing dopamine and start pursuing destiny. Don't trade your legacy for a weekend. Don't trade your calling for convenience. Don't give up your future because today feels tough. Yes, it's hard to delay. Yes, it's frustrating to work and not see results yet. But if you stay in it, if you keep showing up, if you refuse to quit, the harvest is inevitable. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling you set it in has faded. It's sticking to the plan when the excitement wears off. It's choosing principle over impulse. And that kind of discipline unlocks results most people will never experience because they keep quitting right before the compound effect kicks in. So choose wisely. Every yes and every no is shaping your future. Decide that you will not be ruled by your urges. You'll be led by your vision. Refuse to settle for short-term comfort that costs you long-term freedom. The life you want is waiting on the other side of your patience, your persistence, and your willingness to delay what's easy so you can receive what's excellent. One of the greatest decisions you will ever make in life is who you allow close to you. Because your environment is either feeding your future or suffocating it. And here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're always the smartest, strongest, or most driven person in your circle, you're not in a circle. You're in a cage. You're stuck in a space that's stroking your ego, but stunting your evolution. You need to be around people who challenge you, not coddle you. People who see your potential and won't let you play small. People who don't celebrate mediocrity, but call you higher. People who don't just tolerate your vision, they provoke it. If everyone in your life is applauding you and no one is correcting you, you're not being empowered, you're being enabled. See, real growth happens when you're uncomfortable. When someone around you makes you think deeper, dream bigger, move faster, and lead better. That's how champions are made. The truth is, pressure produces diamonds, and iron sharpens iron. But if all you're surrounded by are dull blades, don't be surprised when your edge disappears. You don't grow by staying safe. You grow by being stretched. You've got to stop being loyal to environments that keep you lazy. Just because you've known someone for years doesn't mean they're qualified to walk with you into your future. Some people were assigned to your past, but are a threat to your purpose. They love the version of you that's familiar, manageable, predictable, but that version won't build empires, won't break generational curses, won't reach nations. And that version isn't your assignment. You need to get around people who are obsessed with personal growth, people who read more than they gossip, people who build more than they blame, people who don't flinch when you talk about faith, freedom, and financial abundance. You need conversations that make you uncomfortable in a good way, ones that expose where you've been settling and ignite where you're meant to soar. And don't just wait for those people to show up. Seek them out. Invest in communities, mentorships, masterminds. Pay the price to be in the room where excellence is the standard. Because who you walk with determines how far you go. Proximity is power, and the right associations can do in moments what effort alone couldn't do in years. So ask yourself this: who's stretching you? Who's speaking life into your vision? Who's telling you the truth when it hurts? And more importantly, are you teachable enough to listen? The next level of your life is on the other side of uncomfortable conversations, rigorous accountability, and powerful partnerships. Never settle for circles that let you coast. Surround yourself with people who challenge your comfort and watch how fast you rise. If you want to live a life that breaks limits and sets a new standard, you have to make a bold decision. Stop operating from your circumstances and start operating from your vision, because circumstances lie. Circumstances are temporary. Circumstances are simply a reflection of your past patterns, not your future potential. But vision is truth at a higher level. Vision is divine. Vision is the preview of your destiny. And if you learn to move by vision instead of reacting to what's around you, you'll unlock a life most people will never access. Too many people make their choices based on their current conditions. They look at their bank account and decide what they can't do. They look at their past and let it dictate what's possible. They look at their environment, their resources, their limitations, and they shrink. They adjust their dreams down to match their situation instead of raising their faith to match their calling. But let me tell you something. If all you do is make decisions based on what you see, you'll stay stuck in what is. Visionaries are not limited by what's visible. They are driven by what's possible. Your vision must lead your life. Not your feelings, not your fears, not your facts. The facts may say you're behind. The facts may say you don't have enough. The facts may say you're disqualified, but your vision says, I'm called, I'm chosen, I'm equipped, I'm rising. And the truth is, whatever you focus on will grow. If you keep focusing on what's missing, you'll magnify lack. But if you fix your focus on where you're going, on who you're becoming, everything in your life begins to shift. Vision is what gives purpose to your pain. It gives structure to your steps. It gives fuel to your faith. Vision reminds you that today's pressure is producing tomorrow's promise. That what looks like a setback is just set up in disguise. That every no you hear is just a redirection toward the yes that matters. If you can stay rooted in your vision, nothing around you can shake you. Not rejection, not delay, not adversity. Because vision doesn't bend under pressure, it becomes clearer. The real test is, can you walk like you're wealthy when you're still in lack? Can you lead like you're qualified when no one believes in you yet? Can you build like it's already done even when nothing around you looks finished? That's what separates builders from dreamers. Builders construct based on vision. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They move based on the promise. So don't let your current situation define your permanent direction. Circumstances may change, but your calling does not. Your environment may be unstable, but your purpose is unshakable. The economy might shift, people might walk away, plans might fall through, but your vision will stand if you keep standing on it. Operate from your vision, and the world will eventually catch up to what you already saw in your spirit. Because visionaries don't need evidence to believe, they believe until the evidence appears. The secret to success is not in the hype. It's not in the excitement you feel when you first start. It's in the grind. It's in the repetition. It's in showing up daily with relentless consistency. Even when you don't feel like it, even when nobody's watching, even when results seem slow, even when the voice in your head whispers. What's the point? The point is this: the person who keeps showing up wins, not the one who's the most talented, not the one with the perfect strategy, the one who is relentless. You've got to stop negotiating with your goals. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop needing to be motivated. Champions don't rely on emotion. They operate from discipline. They do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not, because they understand that greatness is not built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. It's built in the daily decision to push through, to follow through, to keep moving when momentum is nowhere in sight. Every day you show up, you cast a vote for the future you're building. Every workout, every call, every email, every uncomfortable conversation, every time you show up with integrity and effort, you are creating the compound effect that builds unstoppable momentum. It may not look like much day to day, but over time, it stacks. It multiplies. And suddenly, what used to feel like struggle becomes second nature. That's the power of relentless consistency. It transforms who you are. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're inconsistent. They start strong and fade. They show up when it's convenient, not when it's required. But your destiny doesn't bend to convenience. It responds to commitment. And commitment is measured by what you do daily, not what you say occasionally. You don't get the reward for showing up sometimes. You get it for showing up every time. It's easy to get bored with the basics, easy to overlook the importance of the routine, but the extraordinary is always hidden inside the ordinary done consistently. Don't underestimate the power of doing the small things right every single day. That post you write, that call you make, that plan